take action, and then figure it out later. That is the principle that I live by currently, and that is the principle that I will live by for the rest of my life. However, it was never a principle that I lived by in my earlier years for sure. I was that individual that would procrastinate, that would continuously formulate plans, ensure that the plan was perfect. I was obsessed with the idea of perfectionism, when in reality, perfectionism was just masked with procrastination. It was a license, an excuse to continue procrastinating rather than taking action and shooting at the target. And that is one of the main reasons why most people never accomplish their goals. It's never due to a lack of intellect or capability or the know-how or the connections. It's the conviction, the willingness to do, I guess, borderline desperation, because if you really want something in life, you will always find a way. If not, you will find an excuse, as a wise man once said. But the best way to ever accomplish anything is you commit yourself first, because ultimately you will figure it out later. There is no such thing as a perfect plan. If you've had this concept or an idea that you think a plan has to be perfect to the dot before you can take action on anything, then you are gravely mistaken. You are gravely mistaken, and it's part of the reason why you've not accomplished what you've wanted to accomplish thus far, because you've been procrastinating for too long. There is no such thing as a perfect plan. The most successful people you can think about, they all started with an imperfect plan, or some of them just took action and had the mentality of, I'll figure it out later. It's why I always say that stupid people with, let's say, perceived lower IQ, end up becoming richer and successful, because a lot of them don't even think about it. It's always the dumber people that end up with the hottest girls. Why? Because when they approach women, they're not thinking half the time of, what can I say? What if I say the wrong thing? They just take action. They walk and they approach, because they have the mentality of, I'll figure it out when I get there. It's the same thing whether it's business. Now, I'm not saying to go gung-ho, because there's always a balance to these things. I'm not also saying that you should go gung-ho and jump into a business plan and invest all your capital in something with no thinking or no plan whatsoever. A rough plan is fine, but some of you guys are going into the intricacies when it's not necessary at all. You haven't even started the damn thing. Why are you worried about what ifs and no? Have a rough idea and take action as soon as possible, because then, and I've mentioned this before, when you shoot at a target, imagine archery, right? You have a bow and arrow and you're aiming at the bullseye. You could be miles off. You might even be millimeters or centimeters off from your designated destination, but you won't know until you pull the trigger. You won't ever know how close you are to the target by formulating plans on a continuous basis. It's never going to happen, because you can think all you want. You can strategize and have things in theory of what might happen, what might go on. But the reality is you will never know until you pull the trigger. Some of you guys, look, it is, as I record this, the 14th of November. We are mid-November. We have 6 weeks roughly left of the calendar year. It's about to be 2025. A lot of you guys said at the start of this year, in January 2024, this is the year that I'm going to get everything done. This is the year I'm going to accomplish my goals. And some of you guys have barely moved the needle. Some of you guys have barely made any progress. And a big reason for that is because you keep strategizing. You're still planning. You're waiting for the perfect moment. Gentlemen, I need to disclose this to you. There is no perfect moment, because life will throw stuff at you at the most unexpected times, in sometimes the worst circumstances possible, right? There was a time in my life where I got released from employment, which I deemed to be unfair. And that was the one moment I had the lowest amount of savings to keep afloat. All the other times when things were rosy, I had the highest amount of savings and I was able to cope. The one time I got released and had to rely on my savings, it was at the lowest point. But this is the point I'm making. Life will throw stuff at you at the most unexpected times, at sometimes the worst possible times. You could be broke and your car's not working. It was all well and good when you were earning money. Your car never broke down. Your car decides to break down when you've suddenly gone broke. But this is what life does. It throws curveballs at you at any given point. And you have to be ready for that. You have to understand that life is going to throw hurdles. What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is there's never a perfect moment. So stop trying to construct and formulate this perfect plan that never exists to start. Everything's in theory. You need to put it into practice. You need to apply that information. You need to give it a go, because again, what's the worst that's going to happen? The business failed. I studied for this course, but turns out halfway through that perhaps this is not my calling. This course is not really suited to my traits and characteristics. Well, great, you found that out early. You failed quicker. That's what one of the best advice I can ever give you is fail as soon as possible. Fail quicker, because the quicker you fail, the quicker you can move on. And you've done that process of elimination of, okay, I'm good at this, I'm not very good at this. This business model didn't work for me. It might work for some people, but this business model didn't really quite work out for me. Let me try this business model. Okay, I studied for medicine. I don't like the idea of studying for that long. I don't have a natural passion in medicine. I find the content quite difficult. Okay, but at least you gave it a go. Okay, maybe switch fields, switch career. Maybe I'm going to study finance now. Maybe it might be more suited to you because your numeracy is far superior. But you find out what you're good at. You find out what you dislike. But you only find out by pulling the trigger. So sitting there contemplating and this needs to be correct and what if this... Why are you jotting down for too long? Start. Just begin. Pull the trigger. You got the bow and arrow. Start. Because you might be closer than you think. And in that case, you only need to make a few adjustments. You know, it's the same when it comes to YouTube channel. There's people that have overspent when it comes to equipment. The latest camera. I'm going to hire this copywriter. I'm going to get this graphic designer. We're going to have a fantastic YouTube banner. Get the profile photo ready. Thumbnails. Flashbang editing. But you're on 0 subscribers. You started from the beginning. So the point I'm making is you're trying to find excuses as to why you can't start now. But you never know. You have to start, work out what's working for you, understand your strengths and weaknesses, and then pursue from there and then continue from there. And then you can make adjustments after, because once you take action, now you have tangible evidence of what you need to do to improve. Now you need to understand, okay, this is what I need to do to get to my goal. Whether it's starting a business, studying for a course, you're in the gym, there's certain foods that you eat that perhaps your stomach can digest well, and some foods that aren't very conducive for you, but you only do it by taking action and experimenting. Sitting there theorizing and strategizing, it's never going to work. Forget about it. Because you can sit there and strategize for 6 months, but you've taken no action. It's like when people read books and they mistake that for taking action. Reading books is a phenomenal tool because what you're doing is you're sharpening the axe. Was it Abraham Lincoln? Someone famously said that when it comes to cutting a tree, we've all heard this before, I spend the first 6 hours sharpening my axe, and then on the 7th hour, I then cut the tree. If you gave me 7 hours to cut the tree, I spend the first 6 hours sharpening the axe. Reading a book, reading in general, is sharpening the axe. Formulating an intricate plan is sharpening the axe. But some of you guys have been sharpening this axe for too long. I mean, this tool is now too sharp. You need to start hitting. You need to start actually cutting the tree down. You know, so this is where you take action. Because once you take action, you can analyze, right, perhaps maybe I need to sharpen this axe a bit more. Or actually, if I took action 2 months ago, I'll be a lot further than I am today. But you only find out by taking action. So commit yourself first, because you'll end up figuring out later. So hopefully that benefits you. Consider subscribing, smash the notification bell, follow my socials, leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, and I'll see all of you guys for my next video. Peace.